Welcome everyone to the Village Board meeting of December 12th, 2011. So we're going to change number 11 item business to number 1, number 8 to number 2, and number 9 to number 3.
Okay, say it one more time.
Number 11.
And a player will be named later.
Number 1.
8 is going to be 2, 9 is going to be 3.
Okay.
And everything else is going to shift.
Okay.
Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, first thing on the agenda is public hearing continuation of period lighting. I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Matthews to give her report.
Thank you. I've been in communication with the county, and one of the largest concerns we had was a way to try to find a way to take the cost of period lighting off the back of taxpayers and be the most conservative that we could be while maintaining the historic character of the community. I have been working with them for a long time, and we finally have our hands on some real documents. They sent me some emails. One of the biggest concerns related to the fixtures that we use are the off luminaries that direct light down towards the ground plane. And they gave me several people to contact and lines that I can hook up with about dark sky compliancy that would fit any period lighting, but give us better lighting and also more proficient light bulbs for anywhere that we have them in the village. But the most important thing that they have working for us right now is they gave me a list of basic components that their office recommends. The energy efficiency, the dark sky compliancy, the scale, and the off-site impact and the illumination. But the number one was the creation of lighting districts. Therefore, benefiting property owners are responsible for the cost to maintain and upkeep the lighting so that it does not fall on the rest of the municipality. They are in the process of getting me those laws. So though I know that we've been looking at this for a while and obviously we want to do the best job possible, I think that it behooves us to get the best information that we possibly can. And I'll hold on until we do get that information from the county.
I mean, on my end, I'm comfortable with that. You know, there's no real sense of urgency with this. We want to get it done as fast as we can. But at the same time, it's something that's going to be changing our code, and we want to make sure that the product is the best possible one.
On top of the fact that it's been used successfully in other municipalities, so they're giving us the code from actual municipalities where it has worked effectively.
So it's always good to compare ourselves to our neighbors and see what's worked.
If I can make a suggestion, you want to make sure that comes from the village. Because
What comes from the village?
if they're talking about providing you with any codes relative to lighting districts, that they come from a village and not a town, only because there are different rules and regulations, and typically special improvement districts are authorized by Article 12 of the town law,
Correct.
but they're not generally authorized in villages, though we do have the right to do special benefit districts.
Understood, and you'd be the first to get it. They're just going to provide us with the laws that exist in other communities, and then we can fine-tune anything for presentation to the board.
So would the first or second public meeting in January be sufficient time?
Considering the fact that this is, it's the holidays, and though I know we want to get it done as quickly as possible, I want it to be a proficient job. So I would
So
expect
the second? Okay. So then, just because it's on the agenda, in case there are residents here to speak to this issue, I'll ask for a motion to open up the public hearing portion of the period lighting law.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, so we're not going to be closing this after the public hearing on lighting at the end. If there are any members of the public here that want to comment on the proposed period lighting law, that would be the time. Okay. Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to continue this at our second public meeting in January.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have another public hearing. This is on the village's towing fees. This is the first one of this kind. This was basically brought up by our police department, the police chief, Chief Watt, who wanted to discuss the village's towing policies. One, the first component was to get a formalized towing policy down in writing, and that was word approved, I believe, last meeting that we had. Just the basic bones of the way it's given out, the protocol procedures, because that was never standardized in writing. This portion involves the towing fees and the standardized fees, the ones that the village had been using and not been changed for a number of years, and were, as a result, very low, too low for those that operate towing vehicles in the village, too low for them to adequately make a profit, and it wasn't really, they were losing money doing towing in the village. So this was to update this. I will ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
And a second? Second. All right, I know that there's some more research that I want to do on this, so after the public hearing, if there's any comments from the public, I think I'll ask this board to allow public comment for another week or 2 weeks or so, but we can base that on anything from the public. So at this point, any members of the public that want to comment on the proposed new fee structure for our towing policy, now would be the time.
Did you,
Yes.
did you set a price, or?
Yes, the proposed price is increasing it from $65 to $85 and $20 to $40.
Yeah, that's really nothing.
Can you just say your name and address for the record, please? Thank you.
First of all, it costs insurance-wise, just insurance for an impound lot, it's like over $12,000 a year. You have to have at least 365 tows per towing company to cover that. The village doesn't produce that. It just seems odd that the village can put a price tag on our business without putting a price tag on anybody, other businesses in the village. I mean, and we're doing it to help the people that break the law. I mean, those are the people that get impounded, instead of trying to help people that are businesses in the village. It just seems odd. Like our prices, our standard prices are $100.65, which breaks us even. I mean, none of us are getting rich.
Sure.
So I don't understand why we have to lower our prices for the people that break the law.
Well, just to be clear, prior to this, they were even lower than we're proposing. So this isn't really, it's more updating it. So it's not like we're just randomly throwing in these constraints. They've been in the village code for a long time. Whether they've been followed or not, I can't speak to. But,
Right.
just so you're aware, this isn't something
Every
we're...
year, I proposed an increase to Chief Watt, and it was supposed to be passed on, which I didn't know it wasn't being passed on. For the past 22 years, I've been doing that.
Well, all I can tell you is I've been mayor since April 1st. Less than a year in, and we're talking about this now. I can't speak to past years, but anything in the village code is going to come from the village board. So by all means, send any correspondence, recommendations to Chief Watt, but I would also recommend, if it's something with village policy and the village code, also send it directly to the village board.
Okay. I mean, just because I don't understand really how a government can put a price tag on a private company. Like,
Well,
state
sure.
police don't do it.
Sorry.
You know, the Thruway had to make a separate corporation called the Thruway Authority just so they can govern the prices on the Thruway because the state wasn't allowed to.
Well, it's always on behalf of the village. So, I mean, certainly if there's, if you break down on the side of the road and you need a tow truck, then you pay whatever the tow truck charges. If there is a reason that the PD needs to impound the car, then the tow is done on behalf of the village of Goshen, and the village is authorized, like most municipalities, virtually every municipality, set the rates.
If I'm reading you correctly, I can't see it.
Yes.
If I'm reading you correctly, what you're suggesting, that since you are picking up on behalf of the village of Goshen, you're suggesting a higher rate?
Yes.
I think you'd like to see either a higher rate or no rates at all.
Well, at least our going rate for you know, what we charge the public. I don't think that people that get impounded should get a break, because most of the people that get impounded broke the law.
And the rates that you're suggesting would be the $165?
$100 for the tow and $65 a day storage.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other citizen comments? Joel?
If nobody else has any comments from...
By all means.
The only thing that I would caution the board about is that whatever policy is put in place with regard to towers, that there be a rotating list that's established if one is not currently, and that, the town has gone through this recently, that rotating list be rotated on a next call basis, and that companies with multiple names not be able to use the multiple names to move themselves up on the list. So if they have 3 different operations, that's basically one tower, they would drop, if they were in use, they would drop, all 3 companies would then drop to the bottom of the list.
Yeah, that was part of the procedures that we voted on last time, with just the towing procedures. This public hearing is just for the rates. So that's a good comment, and I appreciate it. All right.
How did we derive the rates for the 80 and the 85 and 40?
I think Chief Watt called around and talked to whether there's other municipalities. This came from him, so I'm not positive exactly where he got it from.
Well, we're not going to vote on this here tonight.
I would not like to vote on this. I would like to keep it open.
I think we should just get more research, to make sure that it's fair and equitable before we go ahead and stamp anything and move forward with it.
And I want to be clear, the genesis for this was not a way to punish people that tow. We appreciate the services that are provided when we need to get a car impounded or whatever it is. The catalyst was really to help and make it so they're increased, because they have been increased for so long. But I think it calls into question, are the numbers where they should be? Should they be more, less? I think it's a good conversation, and I know me personally, Trustee Smith just echoed this, I'm not ready to make a decision on this tonight. So if the board is okay, I'd like to keep this public hearing open for at least 2 weeks to potentially receive written comments, or would you guys like to have another public hearing in 2 weeks?
No, just written comments.
Written comments?
Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
Can I get a copy of the towing policy?
Absolutely.
Right here.
And I just wanted to ask one question. Ma'am, now, approximately, you don't have to...
I'm sorry just to interrupt, but you want the policy or the local law?
No,
Two
policy.
separate?
The one that we just decided, what the bare bones of the towing list is,
Take both.
how it's gonna work.
Yeah,
I'll take both.
Take both.
So then, would someone be willing to make a motion to close the public hearing portion tonight, but continue it for written comments until the first public meeting in January?
I just wanted to ask one more
Yeah.
question. So approximately how many, give or take, in the ballpark, that doesn't have to be anywhere near accurate, cars did you impound from the village last year?
I would say probably about 75.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
The village keeps a track of it.
Sure.
so-
Well, I'm sure I could have found out, but I was just asking you, because I'm here tonight, I want to get some kind of gist in my mind. That's
About
good.
75.
I second.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, so written comments, anyone that's here that wants to debate it, others that might be interested, will accept written comments to be put in public record up until our first public meeting in January. So, okay, wonderful. Moving on, we have the village board minutes from November 28, 2011. Any errors or omissions? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve. And a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we have communications, 3 letters. The first one is thanking 2 of our excellent officers, dear officers, Commodora and Rich. Thank you very much for your outstanding support and quick response on Saturday, 10/29/11, our residence Village Place. We appreciate your dedication in attending to my husband's medical condition of heart issue. Rest assured, he is no longer busting cars. The confidence and loyalty of Goshen police officers is what makes this community a great and wonderful place to live. Thanks again, fondly, Don and Karen DeGraw. A very nice letter. Our police officers are always going above and beyond to help the public in their time of need, and it's always nice to hear A nice thank you from people that have been positively impacted, so we appreciate that. Next, we have a letter from Shabbat of Orange County for a lighting request. Dear Mr. Mayor and Village Board, in preparation for the holiday of Hanukkah, we would like to request the following. As we have in the past, we request permission to organize and sponsor a community Hanukkah lighting ceremony at Church Park on Tuesday, December 22nd and 27th from 5 to 6 p.m., provided there are no other events being held at the same time. The proposed program will include menorah lighting, Hanukkah songs, and refreshments. We would be happy to discuss this with you, any questions you might have, or work with you to make it happen. Please feel free to call us or can be reached via email. Please accept my sincere thanks. May you have the strength to continue all the good work you do for the community. Looking forward to working with you in the future. I remain respectfully yours, Rabbi Pasaj Persky. So I know the village has authorized this in the past, so I'd like to authorize it again this year.
This is Pesach first, and the one with the other.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just say that, I don't know, usually Chief stamps something on here that he's seen it or something, so that just that the village PD is aware of it.
Right. Meg, I believe, have you had a conversation with the chief about this?
Yes.
Okay. So he's aware, and I'm sure they'll monitor and make sure they have everything they need.
We'll receive the motion, I'll second it.
Second, all right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. We have a letter from Orange County Youth Football League. Dear Mayor Rowdy and Village Trustees, I want to thank you and the Village Trustees for our past use of Village Hall for our board meetings and county board meetings. I would like to request the usage again for 2012. We would need the hall for the fourth Wednesday of each month from 6 o'clock until approximately 9:30. The dates are as follows: January 25th, February 22nd, March 28th, April 25th, May 23rd, June 27th, July 25th, August 22nd, September 26th, October 24th, November 28th, 2012. Thank you in advance for your help in this matter. Sincerely, Larry MacDonald Jr., Secretary. It's been a nice relationship we've had in the past with allowing them to use this room here and use the building. It's a beautiful building, so the more activity we have here, I think the better to show people what it has to offer. I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Now we're going to items of business. We're starting with item 1, which was 11, but is now 1. This is very exciting. I want to thank Councilman Newbold for joining us here tonight at our meeting. This is the resolution to the sewer disagreement between the Village of Goshen and the Town of Goshen that's been happening for about 3 years now, and we are happy to say that it is now coming to a close. The town board adopted the sister resolution to this past Thursday night, and I appreciate that. I was there personally, and I was very appreciative of all the kind words that the entire town board had to say, and it was clear they had discussed this in great detail, as had this board, and this is the beginning of us putting this spat behind us and moving forward as one community the way it should be. You know, no longer, we cannot afford to look at things as village and town, but it is one community of Goshen. And this conclusion to this sewer ordeal is one that is fair to both sides, and it will help us work together to bring on new users. I know this board has been focused on this for a long time, and everyone on this board has been working very hard. Ed Shaw was not able to be here tonight. He had something that's been playing for a while, but I spoke to him in depth about this, and he regretted very much that he couldn't be here, but he is absolutely in favor of this resolution. I want to thank this whole board and our professionals, Meg, Art, David. David, most of all, has worked and lived and breathed this. Him and Dennis Kaplicki from the town, they've been working tirelessly on this, and this conclusion that we're reaching right now would not have come about if it wasn't for those two individuals working so hard for their community. I also want to thank Supervisor Bloomfield, the entire town board. I know that Councilman Newbold, you were involved at the very beginning with the negotiations between you and Councilman Capella, myself, and Trustee Matthews. And after all that time, here we are, and I'm very excited about this. I think it's going to demonstrate good things to come for both our communities. I'm sure that others might have something to say. I'll ask for a motion to approve this.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I'm just glad we've come to a conclusion, and we can move on to new, more interesting things.
I just echo that. I couldn't be happier that we put this to rest. I want to thank, as the mayor has, everyone involved, the attorneys, both boards, all the members of the town board. I think it's just really outstanding that we finally come together on this and have a meeting of the minds. And as I said to our attorney, as an attorney, the agreement that really basically was the catalyst for all this was written in 1969. And sometimes one of the problems with legal agreements is that they could be drafted better in retrospect than they were in 1969, and I'm glad that we've been able to come together for the benefit of the entire community to draft a new agreement and put this to rest.
I just want to say, again, echo, in particular, Dave, his tireless effort for this, because I'm sure Dave, being at least about a third-generation Goshenite, had put in a lot of hours and a lot of wear and tear on it that wasn't necessarily compensated. And I appreciate his efforts to it. And I just hope, I mean, it's actually a good thing that we finally got this behind us, or we're about to get it behind us, and I just hope that it sets a precedence for in the future, for any other negotiations that we have, that we can come to some kind of an agreement in a more timely manner, and move things forward in a more timely manner. But also appreciate cooperation with the town board as well.
Absolutely, and I think this is going to be a catalyst for more collaboration and cooperation in the future between both bodies. And one of the highlights of this agreement is that in the future, it sets in stone more ways to discuss disagreements that might arise that will keep us out of the courts. And it'll be more about open dialogue. And open dialogue is what is always needed to maintain a good atmosphere where we can work collectively for our entire community, and that's what this is going to do. So I'm very proud, and I can say that after 8 months, this is my proudest moment as the mayor of this village, to put this behind us, because I know it spells a bright future for our community. If there's no further comments, I will ask for well, actually, it's going to be a roll call vote. Meg?
Okay, trustee Matthews.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Stewart.
Aye.
Mayor Rice.
Aye. There you go, that's enough votes. I just want to convey again that Trustee Char, that he couldn't be here tonight, but he is wholeheartedly in favor, and he echoes all the sentiments with great appreciation to the town board and all their work on this. So, fantastic. Moving on to next item of business, this item 2, which was 8. This is to declare lead agency and negative declaration solid waste disposal. There's 2 different items of business for this, but they're essentially tied the same thing. And a number of months ago, the village began doing work to figure out how we can best deal and be under the 2% tax cap that the state's mandated, what we can do to save costs for our village residents, how we can do things differently, and look at other options to save taxpayer dollars. Part of this discussion was what we're going to do with our waste disposal. For a long time, we've been doing a set tipping fee, so we decided let's put it out to bid, let's see if anyone else can do better. And the result of that was Taylor Recycling won the bid. So in the future, we are very excited. We'll be saving a great deal of money in tipping fees using Mr. Taylor's facility. I want to thank Mr. Taylor and Mr. Rollins for joining us here tonight and to show us support. The first part of this is a negative declaration. I'm going to read through this. Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Goshen declaring itself lead agency and issuing a negative declaration pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act for the award of the Municipal Solid Waste Disposal Agreement with Taylor Biomass Energy, Montgomery, LLC. Whereas the village provides municipal garbage collection services for the residents of the village, and whereas the village solicited competitive bids for a solid waste disposal resource recovery facility within Orange County that would provide the means for an environmentally safe way to dispose of the waste collected by the village, and it would also provide it with a limitation on its future liability. And whereas Taylor Biomass Energy Montgomery LLC was the only entity that submitted a bid and proposed contract in response to the village's solicitation, and whereas the village's proposed action of entering into a contract for waste disposal services is an action subject to the New York State Environmental Review Act, whereas the village board before it has a completed draft environmental assessment form in regard to the proposed action. Now therefore, be it resolved as follows, that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign the completed environmental assessment form, and that the proposed action is an unlisted action, that the village board, as the sole involved agency, after due consideration of all the facts and circumstances in this matter, does hereby adopt the annexed negative declaration. I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have the bid award. Whereas the Village of Goshen has received one bid for providing the solid waste disposal services, and whereas the bid in the amount of $66 per ton, to be clear, right now we're paying over 80, was received from Taylor Biomass Energy. Whereas Taylor Biomass Energy is the single responsible bidder for the provision of the solid waste disposal services, having submitted all the required documentation and bidding certification to consider their bid in the amount of $66 per ton complete, and therefore is hereby resolved that the provision of the solid waste disposal services be awarded to Taylor Biomass Energy. I'll ask for a motion on this.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just wanted clarity on the point that this is for tipping fees only for dumping the solid waste. It has nothing to do with our collection.
Correct. The village will still be collecting the garbage with our personnel, our trucks, and our equipment, and we'll be disposing it at Taylor's outfit there.
Okay.
I'm just curious, since we have representatives here from Taylor, it's just where their state of business is on it.
Okay. Can you guys give us an update on everything? That's been the question.
It's, as you all know, it's been a long road, a lot of bumps. This project has been in inception since 1999, started the permit process in 2006, and I dare say has hit every bump that's possible in a smooth road, making it look like a very bumpy road. Where permits to construct were issued by both the local and the state. There was a lawsuit that was enacted. There was a decision rendered by Judge Slobod in Orange County Supreme Court. Taylor went to Brooklyn to the appellate division and had that decision appealed. Brooklyn issued a temporary restraining order, and about 2 weeks later, Brooklyn issued a permanent stay, permanent hold on her decision. Taylor had to, just last Monday, to perfect the appeal. The opposing party will have an opportunity to present papers. I believe their papers are due by February 2nd to the appellate division. There'll then be oral arguments, probably some 60 days thereafter, and then hopefully some 60 days after there'll be a decision come out of Brooklyn. Roughly, it's anticipated that a final decision will be probably sometime around May. The appellate division reinstated all of the permits. The permanent stay, because I asked our attorney, how do you explain what this means to people so they can understand and comprehend? And a permanent stay as if the judge's decision was never rendered, other than you still got to go through the process. So the other bump in the road that happened most recently in the month of November is the U.S. House and President Obama have placed a 60-day hold on the U.S. DOE loan guarantee program for a criminal investigation into the Department of Energy all about Solyndra. That investigation went in place October 28th and hopefully due to expire December 28th. What we do know is Taylor's one of the next applications to get processed. The department has changed its policy. It won't do large $300, $500 million, billion-dollar projects anymore. It's focused on $100 million projects that are going to employ a large number of employees, both full-time and part-time, and construction workers and full-time equivalents. And The ironic part about this on-hold decision was we were scheduled for a sit-down with Department of Energy sometime the latter part of November. I should recall the date, but I don't. And it was to be the starts of the financial close of the Taylor-Montgomery project. Taylor has all the parts and pieces in place. I refer to this as a 40-headed monster, and you got to tuck all 40 heads in at one moment, just for 1 second, and you're done. And it seems like you get 38 or 34 or 40 of them tucked in, and something pops out. And so with that said, the meeting in late November was canceled. We were told we'll be one of the first ones called in as soon as this investigative review is completed, and the Department of Energy opens the doors back for business again. So right now we have all legal rights to continue construction if all of the financing were done. I'm personally pretty much leveraged out. We've got some $20 million in this Montgomery project at this moment, and with the hold on the process, puts a hold on the equity, puts a hold on the debt. But we're hoping to have this thing closed, as I say, sometime in May. We're still with an 18-month construction period, and we're expecting to commission sometime during the month of June and July 2013. That's about where all the arms of the monster are at the moment.
Thank you. And just to be clear to this board and the public, there are certain safeguards in the contract, whereas if the project hits any more bumps, well, the building will be affected. So, Mr. Taylor, speaking for myself, I admire your fortitude and keep on fighting out there.
Thank you.
One just question to that. So, the rates that we're agreed to, in our thing, let's say it takes 3 years before this gets underway where you're actually ready to start doing it. Does that rate then go into effect, or?
That's the great part of this for the village, that this $66 takes effect on year 1.
Okay.
You do not see a CPI increase until the beginning of year 3 of the start of the contract.
All right.
So theoretically, the world will be who knows what at that point, but your price will be 66 at that point.
I wish you luck, and I hope that it all gets taken care of.
I have a question.
Sure.
I wish you luck, and I hope that this comes to fruition more quickly. But on the part of the village, I have to ask, if this were to go on for an extended period of time, what way out do we have if we are 3-4 years down the road?
It's in the contract. That was, I think, this is the 8th iteration of the contract?
Yes, I know, but
9?
for
Okay.
clarity.
I did them all.
Yeah, okay. There's a period of time within which if the facility is not up and running, we can
We can start.
close it out.
Okay.
The safeguards are in place.
Just like that on the record, cautious.
Unfortunately from our point of view, perhaps unfortunately from Mr. Rollins' point of view, he was teamed up on by a multitude of the Orange County Bar Association and ran through many iterations of the contract.
Yes.
And he's still smiling, so.
Yes, they did.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I will ask for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, actually, we already have those. I apologize. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. in my fervor and excitement for approving the town resolution, I failed to read it into the record. So I am going to read that into the record now. I got overly excited, so I'm just going to read this quickly. Dave, we have to vote again after I read it?
I think fair enough, we should vote again, just.
So, whereas the Village of Goshen, here referred to as the Village, has heretofore commenced litigation against the Town of Goshen, the Arcadia Hills Sewer District, and the Hamiltonian Park Sewer District, hereinafter collectively referred to as the Town, regarding unpaid sewer charges allegedly due and owing to the Village from the Town, and whereas the Village and the Town now wish to settle said litigation upon mutually agreeable terms, which terms are in the overall best interest of all parties involved, and which include the execution of a new intermunicipal agreement with respect to sewer services between the town and the village. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the village agrees to accept the sum of $25,000 from the town at full satisfaction of all claims for unpaid sewer charges for the years 2008, 9, and 10, and it is further resolved that the mayor of the Village of Goshen is hereby authorized by the village board to execute any and all documents consistent with terms of this resolution which may be necessary to settle and terminate the litigation on behalf of the Village of Goshen as set forth herein. And it further resolved that the mayor is fully authorized to execute on behalf of the village of the intermunicipal agreement with respect to sewer services that is annexed to and made part of this resolution. With the roll call vote.
Trustee Matthews?
Aye.
Trustee Smith?
Aye.
Trustee Stewart?
Aye.
Mayor Rice?
Aye. So, I apologize for that, folks. Okay, moving on, we are now at what is on the, we did solidify the Taylor. Yes. Okay, all right. So we voted on that, we voted down. Now we're going up to what was number one on the items of business. Abstract vouchers, I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Bills examined by members of the board were approved in accordance with abstract 2011-2012, numbers 15 and 16, check numbers 2611 through 2659, in the amount of $199,880.25. Again, these are bills that have already been paid and checked upon by the village board and village treasurer. This is just part of the procedure. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. NICOM election workshop. Can I have a motion? A second?
Second.
Village Clerk Strobel is hereby authorized to attend the New York Conference of Mayors Village Election Workshop, held January 10th, 2012 in Fishkill, New York. The total cost for this training is $60. Any discussion?
Glad it's close by next.
Yes. And NICOM has a lot of great resources for village, so we appreciate them.
Too bad they couldn't have them in Saratoga Springs.
They used to.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right. We have the scheduled village election 2012. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
The annual election of the Village of Goshen will be held at Village Hall, 276 Main Street, Goshen, New York, on Tuesday, March 20th, 2012. Polls will open at 9 a.m. and close at 9 p.m. that same day. There will be no village registration day. Any discussion? Okay, I will ask for a motion. Or, I'm sorry, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. We've gone,
The others are all going for number 7, right?
yeah, well, the local law number 4 and local law towing fees, we are going to put that on hold because we are keeping that public hearing open. So then we'll go to number 7, surplus vehicle.
What number is that now?
Not bad. I guess that would be on the I guess that's
Don't do that again, right?
When you say all these nice things about
Okay.
Especially charming sets this month.
All right. Village has a vehicle that we're going to be surplusing. I'll ask for a motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
All right. Resolved to authorize the surplusing of the following vehicle, 1993 Ford F-250, VIN, with a whole bunch of random numbers and letters. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. And now we are at number 10. This is putting out a bid for emergency sewer repairs when there's a sewer line break or anything like that.
Or water.
For water, yes. This is going to be so to award that contract just through an official bid because it's good policy and procedure just to put everything out, see what's the best cost-effective way out there. I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
The village board of the Village of Goshen hereby authorizes the advertisement for bids for emergency service repair of water and sewer mains at various locations in the Village of Goshen, and sets the bid opening for Wednesday, January 4th, 2012 at 2:00 p.m. at Village Hall, 126 Main Street, Goshen, New York. All in favor, signify, any discussion?
How long is that for? So it starts 4 January to when?
Dave, will this be a year contract?
That's correct.
Okay.
No,
I wanted to wait.
I'm saying, how long is the bid open for? Because it starts the 4th of January is when the bidding can start, if I'm correct, right?
No, that's when the bids are open.
So it's going to be advertised.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the paper as soon as the Chronicle and the Indian will publish it.
Okay.
And then they open the bids.
Okay, all right, very good.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay. I don't think I missed anything on there at this point. All right, Mayor, trustee comments. Start with trustee Matthews.
Oh, I'd like to begin by saying, I only recently found out that my dear friend Maria Kennan has gone for a triple bypass operation in the city, and so I wish her, my old ballet teacher, all of the luck in the world, especially after having such an honor just a few weeks ago. You know, being honored for her years of service to the community. So good luck, Maria. Speaking of proud moments, good words, proud moment. My proud moment is being able to respond after 10 years of work. The permits for the CRB wells and for our water facilities here in the Village of Goshen were handed to us by the DEC. They've asked for our comments. We have had our professionals take a look at it, and there are some minor comments, one being that concerning in an emergency situation, if a pump were to go down, would we be able to draw on one of the other pumps? None of this is tremendously serious, and I'm hoping that they go along with it without any difficulty. Certainly, we're looking forward after all these many years of work. I want to thank Art, I want to thank Dippin, I want to thank Jim. Thank you, the board, for having so much faith in us and letting us push so hard on this. And I even want to thank the DEC for coming through, and I look forward to that day that we finally get this thing signed and put to bed. But we have it in our hands, and I'm exceedingly proud. Along with that, I also wanted to make sure that I said thank you to Lita upstairs for giving us a grant for work to be done down here through the Justice Department, and that the Friends of Maplewood has been meeting with some contractors in order to do some sprucing up in this room, the courtroom, and we'll be able to do so. We purchased some tables for in this room, nice tables, and they'll be reworking here once the applicants, once the designs have been formalized, and we have a position, we'll come and make an appointment for a work session presented to the board.
Very good.
Okay? Thank you.
Trustee Stewart.
Just a couple of items. I'm sure everybody's aware that our crews are out very diligently still trying to pick up the debris and the leaves. Also, the tree in Church Park has been decorated, and Mike wanted to thank Bob Karicki for donating his bucket truck for the day. Just wanted to add, we did mention it at the last meeting, that the dirt pile is gone. And I think in addition to what's happened between the two boards here tonight with the contract, that it's been a lot of hard work on everybody's part the last couple of years on all the board members, and former Mayor Higgins, but certainly no one deserves any more credit. The mayor's very modest about this. That he's been the sewer commissioner for the last 2.5 years, and the mayor for the last 6 months, and certainly between moving the dirt pile and having this contract come to resolution, no one has worked harder on our part than he has, and I want to thank him on behalf of all the board members.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Trustee Smith?
I don't have any.
Okay. Most of it's already been said. I just want to again, thank Councilman Wood for being here with us tonight and to show us support. I'm very excited about the new contract, and I think it's going to spell great things for our community. One other thing to report is this weekend, the Goshen Chamber had the Christmas tree lighting downtown. I want to thank the DPW, as Trustee Stewart already did, for their hard work in getting that area ready. They did a great job. I also want to recognize Ray and Maureen Quattrini, Jared Quattrini, Gary Luchin, and Chris Adler for their work on the fountain downtown. The fountain looks absolutely wonderful, and if anyone noticed, the toy soldiers that are there were actually handcrafted by Roy Reese, former secretary of Goshen Schools.
It's great.
So it really looks beautiful down there. All right, that's all I have for tonight. We'll open up to citizens' comments. Yes, Ken.
Yeah, first, I want to thank everyone on this board for bringing to a final conclusion that a long-running dispute between the village of Goshen and the town of Goshen when it comes to our districts. It's a tremendous thing. Second, I want to thank, I've worked with just virtually everyone in this room over the many years of my involvement. I want to thank them. I know what Dave's going to do with all his free time or art. I'm not talking to engineers and Dennis Kaplicki that probably will just communicate on nothing. But yeah, thank you so much on behalf of the town of Goshen. And we do look forward to meeting you more than just on occasions like that, on a more joyous and easier time. So thank you very much, David. Trevor was complete, just believe Kaplicki, will you? He's killing us with his bills. But again, thank you very much. Have a happy holiday, happy holiday, and a Merry Christmas. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Any other citizen comments?
I had a couple of questions, if no one else does. Perhaps I missed it. Well, let me get over here so I don't have a camera up my nostril. And everybody, please excuse my back. On the Taylor contract, maybe I spaced out and whoever might buy me, but is there a term specified on that?
What's the term, Dave?
I'm sorry, on the Taylor contract?
Yeah.
It's 20 years.
It's 20 years.
20 years.
Are there options attached?
You know what, Joel? I don't recall. Do we have options attached? I think there are, right?
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
It's at our option.
Correct.
To renew.
But just to be clear, the 20 years is they can't get financing without a 20-year commitment.
I understand.
Typically, just so everyone is aware, municipalities can't contract for a period longer than they're in office. There's a special legislative exemption for projects such as these in recognition that they can't get financed for that long-term commitment.
The option would be under the same terms, or it's an option to renegotiate?
It's an option on terms they agreed upon.
So it's an option.
20 years from now, so.
It's an option to renegotiate in 20 years.
Essentially.
So it's not really much of an option at all. The escalator, the CPI, is that capped?
You know what? I'm not going to guess. It's in the contract.
Because previously we talked about a 29% cap.
2.25.
2.25. And it's capped throughout the life of the contract?
Yes, it is.
Good. On the NICOM training, well, before I move off that, on the IMA, you read that into the minutes tonight. It will be part of the record as part of the minutes. Do you think that could be made available prior to that, to its appearance in the minutes?
The intermunicipal agreement?
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Well, I would just suggest, I know that Supervisor Bluetooth was going to sign it today. I would suggest we made it after it's signed by the supervisor and the mayor.
Understood.
Yeah.
But that could be made available without having to go through a FOIL.
I think that's very reasonable.
It would be appreciated.
Sure.
And then we will be glad to post it up on our site. I would also suggest, as you know, I've been beating this drum, that the village post it on their site. Put it right on the front page. There's an enormous amount of interest in this issue in the community. And one might, or I would add, a terrific amount of, I think, celebration in the community that the adversarial road has been laid to the side and the two municipal entities are going forward now with a more cooperative bent. And I think everybody appreciates that and appreciated what it took to get there.
Thank you.
As the attorneys in the room will note, once you've gone to war, you've already lost, once you end up in court. So I think the entire community really appreciates it, and it's just one little guy paying taxes that, I'd like to say, I really appreciate this. On the NICOM conference, would you be willing to, since we do have the election coming up, we're basically in election season already, to make that section of the NICOM manual available to the public, either, or maybe perhaps both, on the website and for pickup in the office?
I believe don't we put something together, Meg, for the election, with the calendar dates?
There is a package, but what I'm saying is, can that portion of the NICOM manual be made available?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, since we pay a lot of money to get that's up to NICOM.
We could look into it.
I don't know whether because we have to pay, if we don't pay NICOM,
For the manual?
that's part of what you get, just being a member of NICOM.
Because I was under the impression that, because I've gone to their site, that any elected official can download that as a free
If that's
download.
the case, then that's the case.
I can't because I'm not an elected official, but...
And you're not a member of NICOM.
Right, but...
So then it's the same issue.
Right,
Just, keep in mind, Nikon is not a governmental organization, they're an independent group.
okay.
So I'll find out. If that's okay that there was, it's fine by me.
I think you understand the intent behind it.
Absolutely.
The greater the availability of that information, the better.
Yeah, we'll get the information on that. I couldn't agree more.
Understand my point of view, I just want to make sure we don't...
Yeah, no, I think it's well taken. It's a copyright issue, and it's very, very well
So you
taken.
get your first thing to look into after the town and I met.
We got to
I'll
keep
call
them
Dennis and see what he thinks.
Okay.
We got to keep them busy.
Unfortunately, what are you guys gonna do without the income?
We'll make it up.
Well, you already finished the edition.
What the next issue?
All right, any further questions?
It wouldn't be a regular meeting if I didn't ask, where do we stand on the consent order and the compliance conferencing and the fines,
Same as we were last time.
which was the same as the time before that. Has there been any discussion at all?
Has there been communication? I believe there's been communication between Cornerstone and the DEC on some technical issues. I understand that my position has been and continues to be, to finish the stockpile. That's gone. We are working on remediating the I-9 issues for the project the bypass is undergoing. So we're controlling what we can control. There's going to come a time when the Attorney General and the DEC are going to wrap this up. I can't control their time schedule, and we'll have to deal with that when they're ready to deal with it. We can control what we can control, and that's getting rid of the stockpile and doing the best we can to remediate our I-9. That's what we're doing.
Has there been any input through our state legislators to the AG and the DEC in terms of attenuating or ameliorating some of the crush of the financial burden?
Yeah, I really don't want to, since that's still in discussion and there's still a notice of violation and there's potential litigation, I really don't want to get into that.
Thank you.
Mr. Teller, you had your hand raised?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to the town board, village board, mayor, trustees, Attorney Donovan. As he alluded to, version 9, getting to meet all of the attorneys in the Orange County Bar Association that represent town, cities, and villages. It was a lot of effort, and we thank you very much for the effort. When we started this on version 1, probably almost a year ago, and now have gotten to the point of version 9, a tremendous amount of people hours into that piece of work, and I think it's a municipal agreement that will be used in a number of different places in the future as a protocol, because of the fact similar type arrangement hasn't been done in a number of years, especially in the waste energy business. So for that, we thank you for all your time and efforts, and we really appreciate the faith and confidence of the Village of Goshen, and hopefully sometime around June 2013, you're all going to be invited to a great turn on the key ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll look forward to it. Any other public comments? Neil?
Yeah, what's the threshold, the number of registered voters for for the March election, number of signatures required on the nominating petitions?
100.
100.
I believe, right, Mike?
And, gosh, when you were talking about impoundment and towing, I couldn't help but notice this item here, section 54.8, operation with cutout open muffler release. In other words, loud mufflers. And I don't know, I've always been curious, I hear these really loud motorcycles and hot rods, and there isn't a day or a night that goes by when I'm not personally disturbed by these things, and maybe I'm not the person to be saying this, but I've just always been curious, why is that tolerated? You have these really loud mufflers. I mean, me personally, and I know a lot of people that have been pulled over for excessive loud exhaust, and the exhaust wasn't nearly as loud as these Harley-Davidson motorcycles and hot rods, and what's that all about?
What's the hot rod? I want a definition.
Let's just say a loud car. Yeah, a car with a really loud muffler.
Yeah, I don't know the historical background there, what's been discussed in the past, and the past village board meetings that led us to the current state of that part of the code. So we could look through some old minutes and try to determine that, but I don't have any information in front of me to allow me to speak intelligently about it.
Well, perhaps the village attorney might know, is that more of a state law? I mean, is a loud exhaust protected under state law?
No.
Okay.
I can tell you that loud mufflers, equipment violations, find their way often into the traffic court. And my side job is prosecuting traffic tickets in the village court. This particular code provision is from 1966. So it's likely, frankly, preempted by the New York State Vehicle and Traffic Law, which this board has no jurisdiction. But I will assure you that the PD writes a fair number of tickets for equipment violations, which include loud mufflers.
So if a loud muffler is, if it's not an equipment, I don't know if I want to say violation, but I mean if the exhaust system is intact and it's all got its nuts and bolts on it and it's brand new, but it's still really loud, that's acceptable, that's okay? That would not be an equipment.
Really loud.
Well, an equipment violation would be, in other words, if you have a muffler that's compromised, right? Would that be considered equipment?
I don't want to speculate. It's whatever the vehicle and traffic law says.
The New York State.
Yeah.
Okay, and, well, I guess I'd also like to comment, I hope that they have enough jelly donuts at the menorah lighting this year. Thank you.
Any other citizen comments?
I can add one clarification from my colleague here. A cutout back in the 50s and early 60s referred to a cable-operated mechanism on the long pipe prior to the muffler where you could pull on a knob under the dash and it would open up a butterfly flap and your exhaust was cut out from the system so it wasn't going through the muffler. So if you really want to impress that girl that you were after, you pop it out.
It really is about hot rods, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what a cutout is.
Thank you for the clarification.
It's actually a device.
Any further citizen comments?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, by a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody, thank you very much.